Dobre utro. I really don't know what else to film. Should I be with me? Or no, should I listen to me, bro? I get all mixed up because I think I'm learning so much that I get really mixed up. It needs time to settle in my brain. I'm learning about all these cases and stuff, and it's really good. It's not confusing, but it's just like, holy. You know, I'm caught up in a rabbit hole right now of history. I've been stuck in I've just been hit with the realization that I really don't know much about history, and I think a lot of history, I don't know. I don't want to really get into it, but I saw this documentary talking about some theory that Russians are actually like the oldest white people that exist. And there is something special about Russians, man. I can't put my finger on it. Walking through the street, now Litsa, you pass by like a Russian woman. First of all, she is they just dress perfectly with their coats and their boots, sometimes all black with their hood, fur, and they just look, they have this countenance, like their facial expression, just the way they hold themselves. It's so, it's like almost like royal, like regal, you know. But also obviously Russians are, they're like of the people. So it's just so interesting. Every time I step out, it's just like, it's just so, it's always awesome for me to watch that. It never gets old. Never gets old. I feel like I absorb knowledge through feeling. You know what I mean? I feel like things speak to me and they tell me like the truth. I'm not saying I'm like special or nothing at all. I'm not saying like I kind of have some kind of, I'm just trying to share, like, that's just the way I see it. I don't really hear anyone talking about that kind of thing, like absorbing knowledge through intuition, if that makes sense. I wouldn't say you get like a purely accurate portrayal, but you definitely get pointed more towards the truth. And the truth is like a feeling. The truth is like, you can feel the truth, you know what I mean? Now, I don't know exactly what that is, but yeah, the way Russians hold themselves is it's like inspiring, you know. It makes you want to be, it's so cool. But at the same time, they're like of the people. They're down to earth is a phrase in English. I've used the phrase down to earth, and I think it got lost in translation. But in English, down to earth just means like, sorry. Down to earth just means you're of the people. It's a good thing. For me, it's a good thing. I'm a Taurus, so I'm very earthy. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I wanted to talk before that, but I forgot. I kind of am into this thing called alternative history. You know, Americans. I'll just talk about Americans, because Russia's, I think they're taught different versions of history, and they're well educated. I'm not saying like what they're taught is necessarily 100% true either, but I would say we're taught, children in the States are taught from like an early age that Christopher Columbus discovered America in 1492 from like a super early age, from like kindergarten. It's ridiculous. And you start to wonder, like, out of all the things that you could teach a child, why would you teach them that? Now, you could have your own opinion and think, well, you know, whatever you want to, you know, there's a million excuses of why they would do that. But there's this interesting movie that I don't know if you might want to check it out or not, but I'll just tell you real quick about it. So yeah, like this particular movie, it's like rated 6.3. I just want to pop in and say real quick, I think a lot of the truth drops in movies are from movies that are like not seen as really good movies in Hollywood, that are rated probably like a 5 out of 10. It's by M. Night Shyamalan, some Indian American director. It's not Bollywood, it's American or whatever, Hollywood. It's called The Village. Essentially, it's about I believe that there's like a lot of truth in movies and films. It's what do they call it? Truth drops, you know? People think it's a movie. That's another saying. Americans are like, it's shocking how dumb we are as a collective when you compare even to other societies or whatever. But you know, like an American would be like, oh, that's just a movie. You know, it's a movie. It's fake. You know, it's fiction. There's a lot of truth in fiction. I think, you know, you can hide a lot of truth in art, whether it's film, music, whatever. So this movie, The Village, basically, it's just about a village that believe, it's like a religion, it's like a cult. And it's like Amish people, you know, or whatever. They're in this little bubble and they believe that these old traditional values, and they're taught that there's this border around their village that they can't cross because there's like evil behind the walls, and they're taught from an early like kid's age that you never cross this border ever. You'll die. So they're like injected with fear about this fence around their village. Anyway, spoiler alert, like long story short, what ends up happening is that the village is actually just like an enclosed area, and outside is like the quote-unquote modern world. You know what I mean? And I've been thinking more and more about that movie, and how literally I believe our whole world is like a village. Now, I don't know the details, and there's a whole section of YouTube devoted to alternative history, you know, and I wouldn't trust anything, and I don't think with my head, I just think more towards like, I kind of been bugged, especially with the idea that a lot of stuff was discovered in the 18th century. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like the 18th century. I mean, just look at Russia, for example, the architecture in Russia. Nothing really makes a whole lot of sense, especially the way they build new architecture. You have beautiful, amazing, old architecture that has steeped in tradition, etc., etc. And then you have new modern garbage that everyone is, you know, really stupidly taught that, oh, this is the modern times, you know, this is better. Like, where it's just crap, you know. So it just makes you think like, yo, obviously everything is a lie, you know. The key is like to sort out, and you can get lost in that. But anyway, yeah, it's The Village by M. Night Shyamalan. The Village. What if we're living in a village, you know? We're trapped by the lies that we were taught as a kid. Think about everything that you were taught as a child. And at least I won't say you, because I know Russians, it's Russians watching, so they're Russians are generally better educated and they have better tradition. But still, I'll just speak as an American. You got to go back and ask not only what you were taught, whether it's true, but why were you taught this kind of thing? Why why are we taught these things? As an American, you know, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue, discovered this shit in 1492. Like, so dumb. So dumb. How many of these things were, you know, and I think a lot of people are going to disagree, and that's cool. But I think about this stuff all the time. I know. Like, I know for a fact that something weird's going on, you know what I mean? But, okay, I'll end it by saying that, like, I'm so happy that I'm here, though, because Russians actually believe in, like, real tradition, and it's not stupid. It's cool. There's, like, a real history here. There's also something special going on in Finland. I was in Helsinki, and I immediately felt like, oh, this is a special place right here, man. You hear the bells? Yeah, there's some real history going on in Russia, man, for real. Yup, yes, sir. Anytime you meet a Russian, you can tell, like, they have some special blood or something. They're, like, royal. Yup, you hear the bells?